Tell me about your concert.
We are going to do a concert, which it's kind of a two things in one. It's a concert and a taping for a PBS special that'll air later this summer. It's the kind of the world premiere of my next album, and so we're going to be performing all the songs that'll be on the album and a few other things.
How much preparation went into putting something on like this?
Just today, really. No, the album we've been preparing and rehearsing. I'm not rehearsing, but preparing and recording since November. The special, we have a lot of professionals who know what they're doing, and I trust them. I need to show up, I need to sing, and they will, and they'll make the show look good. I mean, I'm kind of a micromanager, so I've been relatively involved behind the scenes, emailing back and forth, saying I want this, I want that, and I want it to look like this, and do these things. But I've been lucky enough to be able to be surrounded by people who know what they're doing and doing things really well. So, I mean, if your name's attached to something, you want it to be. So you don't want it to be bad, right? So, it's you get to a point, I think, where you realize either I can kill myself and stress out about all this, or I can let other people stress out about it, and I can be a little calmer. And I think that allows me to be more, do what I need to do best when I'm on the stage singing, a little bit better.
Was it your idea to have the PBS special, or did someone approach you to be like, hey, why don't we just kind of join this together?
It's kind of been part of the plan all along to make sure, because the stuff that we're doing, the stuff that's on the album kind of lends itself to that type of promotion or that audience, the PBS audience. And so it was an opportunity it's the first time we've done it. It was our idea, but we were fortunate enough that PBS was eager to be a part of it too. So.
And why Raleigh? Besides Wake County and Raleigh being your hometown, why did you decide to come here?
Well, I mean, that's precisely why we decided to come here. We could have done it several different places, but the music to me is kind of a return to the type of stuff I did before. It's a little bit of a return to, I guess, my artistic home, if you will. So we thought, well, we're gonna do the special anywhere we can. We do it in Raleigh, and we're gonna do the photo shoot in Raleigh. So the album really has a back at home type of theme to it in a way, because the songs are close to, artistically at least, close to my heart and close to the type of thing that I've always kind of really wanted to do. So it's just a cherry on top to be able to do it at home too.
And I know your fans have been behind you the entire way. And when I posted the story on our website that you were actually planning this, I got comments from hundreds and hundreds of people saying that they're going to travel across the country to come see you. Does that surprise you at all?
I think you're always surprised. I think if I were to get too comfortable and confident in that, then it would make, I think I could be in for a rude awakening. It's always a surprise when folks are willing to put so much effort forth. I mean, there were definitely times in my life when no one wanted to be around me at all. So the fact that people will pay to come across the country is flattering and never really expected at all. It's always it's always a little bit of a surprise that people are that willing. There have been days when I thought I'd never be able to perform again. You know what I mean? And to put it, we sold out relatively fast, and so they've been very very supportive, and I'm always appreciative and always kind of baffled.
I mean, are you going to have any of your biggest supporters here? Your family, your mom?
I've got my family. A lot of my family will be here, which is nice. And since I'm at home, which is kind of neat to me, quite a few of the teachers who I had in elementary, middle, high school, throughout my school career, I guess, are going to be here too. I think I've got a teacher from every grade that I was in Wake County schools. So.
That's going to be kind of weird. I mean, because they saw you performing in choirs, and all of a sudden now you're here on stage, center stage, and you're Clay Aiken.
Well, I mean, I don't think I'm any different than I was before, but with a lot of people who supported me in a high school show or shows that I've done before, I think it's kind of appropriate that they get to be a part of this too, because they were supportive when I was just singing in choir in high school. So.
And I was reading up about you. On your bio, you said you have a college degree in special education, and you actually aspire to be a teacher. I mean, how do you feel about what's going on in schools nowadays, and particularly the Wake County School Board?
We could be here all day. I think that really one of the things that has made Raleigh, Wake County, the whole triangle, a success You know, it's one of the fastest growing places in the country, and I think that in large part one of the reasons that it has been so successful is because the schools have been so strong. I mean, there's research that shows, Gerald Grant, an author, wrote a book just last year called Hope and Despair in the American City, and it's subtitled Why There Are No Bad Schools in Raleigh, nationally publicized. And it talks about, you know, the amazing policies that we've had in place since I've been in school and since the mid-90s with this socioeconomic policy that have made sure that every kid has an equal opportunity. And I think that, you know, as someone who's passionate about where I came from, passionate about the school system that I was a part of, I'm scared. I mean, I'm seriously quite scared, because I think there are examples of school systems kind of failing because of the same types of things that we're now going back to, or we are headed back to. You know, we've been on the forefront of educational policy for decades, and we've been a school system that's been a model for the whole country. And now to think that we're going to go back to programs and places and policies that other school systems are seeing as failures is frightening, you know. I mean, I don't live in Wake County right now. I grew up in Wake County. My mom's in Wake County. I don't live here, but I've said before, you know, I don't have to live in Somalia to know that those kids need someone to speak up for them. So I've been rather vocal about it in the past few months, and I find it kind of amazing that especially some of the new school board members have come from areas where the schools are failing and are bringing those policies here, and it's frightening. So I'm hopeful that they will slow down and that they will take, you know, kind of listen to the experts and listen to educators, because I think that we'd be hard pressed to find any educators in Wake County who really don't think that the policies that are already in place have been successful. So.
Have you always had an interest in what goes on in school, or is this kind of just something that brought up since you had your son Parker?
No, I think I've always had an interest. I mean, I was going to be a teacher. I think that, interestingly enough, when things are going well, people become complacent. And for, what now? I'm 30 years old. For 30 years, since 1976, when Wake County and Raleigh merged, you know, we've had a good school system. And so, you know, I don't think people show up to vote for school board because, you know, everything's going well, so why change? And I think that, you know, this time folks didn't vote because things were going well. I think that we'll see in 2 years and then again in 4 years that people will come out in far greater numbers because they will be scared of what's happening and scared of the changes that are being made. So while I am scared for the next 2 years and scared for the next 4 years, I am confident that in 2 or 4 years we'll be able to get rid of the rubbish and bring back the people who know what, who will put back in place the policies that have worked for 30 years. So.
Let's talk about the gala that you did a couple of weeks ago. That was huge for you. I mean, what was it like? Talk about that experience.
What are we talking about? What was huge?
About your the HRC Carolinas gala.
Well, I wouldn't say it was huge. It was, what shall we talk about?
Well, for you to get up and talk and speak about who you are and having people the rights, their human rights, to be equal.
It's so funny to me sometimes. I'm not making fun of you.
Oh, no,
it's so funny to me. People are always so afraid to say gay. I don't know why. People are always so afraid to say gay rights. You know, it was big only in the sense that it's the first time I've spoken about gay rights. And to me, it was an opportunity to kind of say, listen, you know, I was late to the party, but I'm here and I'm a part of it. As far as you know, my purpose there, I think that there are people who are involved in any advocacy program that are loud rabble-rousers, and there are people who are slow and a little more methodical and quieter. And you know, so I kind of feel like my job is to be a little bit quieter, and or at least the job that I've given myself or taken on is to be a little more slow and deliberate. So it wasn't necessarily my goal to stir too many emotions or to stir the turd, as it were, as I've heard from family and friends for years. So. But you know, I think it is important. Raleigh's very progressive when it comes to that type of thing, and I think it's different for, at least progressive for the South and for this part of the country. And so I am proud to live here. But you know, I think we do still have quite a ways to go, and I don't pretend to be a person who is going to, go march and knock on the General Assembly members' doors to make change. I think that things will come along. My brother's younger than me, substantially younger than me. He's 22. He was a Marine, and he and his friends, all of his Marine friends, are very accepting of gays and lesbians and the need for gay rights. And I think that it's a matter of being patient, which is tough for folks a lot. I don't want to be patient. I talked about the fact that it's about damn time, and I think it is time. But I also think that we have to be responsible to make sure that the changes that we are able to make are lasting.